Hey, what's going on, guys? If you don't know me already, I'm Video Games, and welcome to my channel. I remember first starting out on Rocket League and being a silver, not knowing anything about positioning, rotations, aerials, or anything even along those lines, because to be honest, I was just having fun playing the game. I was having the most fun just hitting the ball and not really even caring about where it was going. So in this video, I'm going to give you 5 tips which are going to make you a much better Rocket League player. These tips are the things which have allowed me to reach the rank of champ within the first 500 hours of playing this game. And I believe that by following these tips, you can also reach the same rank as me and beyond. Whether you're silver, gold, plat, diamond, or even still a champ. Whether it's in 500 hours, 300 hours, 1000 hours, following these very easy tips will make you a better Rocket League player. Okay, cool. So, tip number 1. So you're looking for the fastest way to improve at car hitting bowling goal and not lose to bad other team people that suck, or something like that. And this tip really is number 1. It's the best tip in the history of tips ever, and that's a fact. And that tip is focus on the basics. You could easily do 500 hours just on focusing on the basics, and you still wouldn't be 100% consistent. You'd be pretty damn good at Rocket League, but you wouldn't be 100% consistent. There's so much more to learn. The foundation of which you start your Rocket League career is the most important thing that you can possibly do. I managed to hit champ in a solo queue with no idea how to flip reset, ceiling shot, breezy flick, musty flick, any flick, whatever flick, and I managed to regularly get the MVP in games. How did I do this? I kept it simple and I focused on the basics. I made sure that I was fast and consistent with all of the basics that you have in Rocket League, and it got me there. So what is keeping it simple, and what are the basics? Well, in my opinion, there are 6 basic principles which you need to work on whenever you play Rocket League. Number 1 is difficult saves, because, well, let's face it, you can't lose if they don't score. Dribbling, because, well, it's car football. Football, if you're not dribbling it, then what's the point? Boomers. Being able to hit the ball consistently with power is so important. Positioning. Recoveries. And knowing when it is and isn't your ball. I could do an entire video on each of those points alone, and if you guys want me to make videos on those points and how to train those points effectively, then please do let me know in the comment section. Okay, so that takes us to adaptability and chemistry. One can be learned, the other just simply can't. Sometimes you're going to join a game and the stars are going to align, you'll be blessed by the heavens, and every single moment of that game will feel like some incredibly well choreographed dance routine, where every single pass creates an assist or a goal, and for 5 minutes you're going to feel like an RLCS world champion. Other times, not so much. A common mistake is to think that your teammate suddenly just isn't as good as your godlike passing teammate from previous matches, but this isn't entirely true, at least from not how I understand it anyway. Just as people learn different skills at different times, people have different playstyles. Some people are more in tune with positioning and being defensive like me, and some people are just mechanical scoring gods who just can't save a shot to save their life and entirely rely on you to do that. Figure out who it is on your team and adjust your playstyle to complement that. If they're aggressive, be defensive. If they're defensive, be aggressive. Don't have too many cooks in the kitchen. If they're fast and going for a lot of balls, maybe even too many balls, which, let's face it, happens a lot, then instead of getting annoyed, just become that defensive support that they need, and suddenly all of that friction just goes away and you become a unit again. Be the bigger person and adapt, because 9 times out of 10, they won't adapt, and chances are, if you adapt every single game, and they keep playing the same every single game, you'll rank up much faster than them, without needing to be as fast or as mechanically gifted as them. So in a way, this leads me on to tip number 3, solo queuing and the blame game. So let's talk about the blame game. This is something I'm sure that everyone's experienced, and if you haven't, you will. Whether it's you or your teammate, whether it's passive aggressively spamming the OK button or the thanks button, or directly wasting time by taking part in a chat blaming each other for whose fault that previous goal was. This is the exact opposite way to improve at Rocket League, so just don't do it. Let's just say, for example, your terrible teammate is this guy, okay? They've just scored 2 own goals and missed 3 open nets in 1 minute. And you're sat there trying to hold in the rage to end all rages. What I want you to do is just take a deep breath, and instead of being like, be like,
it's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
And just focus on your own performance. Let them make mistakes, because at the end of the day, they're not you, and losing a game in the grand scheme of things is nothing. Unless you're a GC, I can assure you that you're going to be making a lot of mistakes in every single game that you'll probably be unable to even recognise due to not really fully understanding every aspect of this incredibly complex game. But that's okay, because the fun is in the journey and the learning. Kinda. In short, give your teammates a break, focus on yourself. This is probably one of the best tips that I can give anyone about this game, and there's a reason why everyone says it. Because it works. So that takes us to tip number 4. Tip number 4 is, quite simply, every game is a learning opportunity. The first steps towards becoming a better player is recognising that you are in fact not as good as you want to be, and you need to stop making excuses for that. Never leave a match or a game that isn't being purposely thrown by your teammates unless someone is being aggressively toxic. If that's the case, just report them and leave. And I'm going to tell you why you should never leave a game. Let's just say you're losing 7-1, there's still 2.5 minutes left on the clock. You're being Braziled like nobody's business, and it seems like either your opponents are about to score more goals than the FIFA World Cup MVP, or you're about to pull off the comeback of the millennium. Both outcomes are valuable and can help you improve. Come back from 7-1 and win 9-8, and your ability to keep cool under pressure will only become stronger, making you a much better and well-rounded player. Lose the game 14-0, save the replay. Win the game 14-7, save the replay. Oh my god, I cannot tell you how many replays I've watched to understand exactly where I went wrong, or even what I did right. Watch it back over and over to see their positioning, their speed, their consistency, their rotations, their mechanics, all of it, and learn from it. Being beaten by players that are much better than you should be treated like a gift. Treasure it, use it. You really can level up to a high standard so fast just by identifying and acknowledging your own flaws and then working directly on them. You'll be so much better off for it. Trust me. So that takes us to tip number 5. The last tip, but certainly not the least. Understand when you need time on the ball or time in the game. As you progress in this game, you need to be faster, smarter with your positioning, and a lot more consistent with each rank that you progress up the chain. To do this, you'll either need to work on your game sense or your mechanics. But it's up to you to identify which one of those two things needs work, because they are different things. People develop in-game strengths at different times. Sunless Khan gave a really good example in his early videos of filling up 2 cups, one for mentality and the other one for mechanical ability. He explained, in order to rank up quickly, both cups must be full to a particular level for each rank. When you're losing, find out why you are losing, and saying teammates is not an answer. When I couldn't figure out why I kept losing games in 1v1, I watched back 10 replays in a row and I made a note of every single mistake I made, whether it be positioning, overcommitting, whiffing, not hitting it with enough power, recovery time, not being back post, anything I could think of, any stupid thing that I thought I was doing. I turned it into a graph and I realised that over 30% of the goals that I conceded were kickoff goals, so I spent a few hours practicing that and now it hardly ever happens. So find out what it is for you, because everyone will be different. Watch your replays, write stuff down and find a pattern and then work on it. Are you always out of position? Do you need to be in game to figure out where you need to be whilst the player's going? Or are you always in the right position, but whenever you actually end up having the ball in possession, you don't know what to do with it? Oh yeah, and I totally forgot tip number 6, which is going to make you so much better at Rocket League, guys.
subscribe.